We have a great Washington, D.C. We, as you probably know, we're going into Memphis and we're going into some other cities, and very soon we're going to go into Chicago. It will be safe for the World Cup. If I think it isn't safe, we'll move it into a different city. Absolutely. We'll take the world. If I think it's not, it's actually a very fair question. If I think it's not safe, we're going to move it out of that city. A little bit dangerous for the World Cup or for the Olympics, you know, where they have Olympic overthrow, right? But for the World Cup in particular, because they're playing in so many cities, we won't allow it to go to, we'll move it around a little.
Yesterday, the President of the United States sat down with the New York Post and said something that nobody, not fans, not analysts, not FIFA's own lawyers, saw coming. He said he wouldn't pay for a World Cup ticket either. Read that again. The leader of the country hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the man who received the FIFA Peace Prize from Gianni Infantino's own hands, the man whose White House task force has been promoting this tournament for 2 years as the greatest event in American history. That man looked at the $1,000 plus ticket price for the USA's opening match against Paraguay and said, on the record, in a newspaper, "I would certainly like to be there, but I wouldn't pay it either, to be honest with you." In 24 hours, that quote has landed in every football publication on Earth, and it has done something that 2 years of fan petitions, European parliamentary letters, and sport finance professors couldn't quite manage. It has made FIFA's ticket pricing crisis impossible to defend. Because if the president of the host country won't pay the price, what exactly is FIFA's argument? This is the most explosive 48 hours in the build-up to the 2026 World Cup. And when you put yesterday's Trump interview alongside everything else that has broken this week, the stadium workers threatening to strike, FIFA's own senior executives pushing Infantino to beg Trump for an ICE moratorium, the Congress performance that is being called an embarrassment across football media, you get a picture of an organization that has gone from managing problems to being consumed by them. Before we go any further, if this is the channel where you get the real story, not the press release version, subscribe right now. One click, completely free, and the next video is already being built. Hit the button. Let's get into everything that's happened in the last 48 hours. Start with the number, because the number is the story. On Friday, the cheapest available ticket on FIFA's official ticketing website for USA versus Paraguay at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles cost $1,220. That was a Category 3 ticket, the budget option, designed for disabled fans. The most expensive ticket available for the same match cost $4,105. That is a front-row Category 1 ticket, a new category FIFA invented specifically for this tournament. When tickets first went on sale in late 2025, the cheapest category was priced at $120, and the final topped out at $7,875. Those prices have since surged dramatically. By April 2026, the maximum price for a final ticket had climbed to $10,990, nearly 7 times higher than the $1,550 maximum promised during the North American bid process. 4 seats to the final were listed on FIFA's own official resale marketplace at just under $2.3 million each. $2.3 million for 4 seats to a football match. By comparison, the most expensive ticket to the 2022 World Cup final in Qatar was approximately $1,600. Qatar, the tournament that generated years of outrage, the one that moved to winter, the one where everyone said it was too far and too complicated and too expensive to travel to. The most expensive final ticket there cost $1,600. In America, in 2026, you can spend nearly 700 times that amount for the same match from FIFA's own platform. Football Supporters Europe calculated that a fan attending every match from the group stage through the final faces a minimum outlay of $6,900, nearly 5 times the equivalent cost at the 2022 Qatar World Cup. Now let's talk about what Infantino said, because his position this week, placed next to Trump's quote from yesterday, is one of the most damaging sequences of events FIFA has experienced in years. On Tuesday, Infantino appeared at the Milken Institute Global Conference in Beverly Hills. He was asked about ticket prices. He defended them. He said, "We have to look at the market. We are in the market in which entertainment is the most developed in the world, so we have to apply market rates." He claimed attending a U.S. college football game couldn't be done under $300, a comparison that sports economists and journalists picked apart almost immediately as misleading. Then he attempted to diffuse the criticism with a joke, saying he would personally bring a hot dog and a Coke to anyone who paid resale prices. A hot dog and a Coke to someone who paid $2.3 million for a seat. That was FIFA's president's answer to the ticket pricing crisis. Then, 2 days later, Trump told the New York Post he wouldn't pay it either. The remarks came just days after Infantino doubled down on the pricing at the Milken Institute Global Conference in Beverly Hills, making it one of the sharpest public breaks yet between the two men over the management of the tournament. Infantino and Trump have been photographed constantly. They attended a UFC fight in Miami together this weekend. Infantino gave Trump the FIFA Peace Prize. They have cultivated, publicly and deliberately, an image of alignment and partnership. And now they are publicly contradicting each other about the most fundamental question facing this tournament. Can ordinary fans afford to come? In January, Monica Crowley, Trump's U.S. chief of protocol and the administration's point person on the World Cup, dismissed fan anger by saying on Fox Business, "Understand this is a supply and demand situation here." The administration was essentially telling American football fans to accept market pricing before the president himself undercut that message by telling a newspaper he wouldn't pay it either. Andrew Giuliani, head of the White House task force on the 2026 World Cup, tried to reconcile the contradiction by saying, "We look to FIFA as a private entity here. We don't really believe in price controls." Giuliani also noted that U.S. Paraguay tickets had become available on resale platforms at prices lower than FIFA's own, a quiet admission that the pricing strategy may have overreached. Resale prices going below face value for the host nation's opening match. That is not supply and demand working in FIFA's favor. That is supply and demand issuing a verdict. But here's the thing that took this week from bad to genuinely crisis level. Because a ticket story is one crisis, and it's sitting on top of two others that broke almost simultaneously. The Athletic reported that senior FIFA managers had approached Infantino with proposals to take the Trump, including a full moratorium on ICE raids across the United States during the World Cup. Think about what that means. FIFA's own executives internally are so concerned about the image of immigration enforcement operations happening in or around World Cup venues that they want the head of their organization to personally ask the president of the host country to pause them for the duration of the tournament. FIFA was made aware of complaints during the FIFA Club World Cup last year, including reports that ICE and CBP agents were present at matches. The Club World Cup was in June and July of 2025. FIFA has had those complaints for almost a year. And now, a month before this tournament opens, they are still trying to negotiate a framework that makes international fans feel safe attending matches in the United States. FIFA executives framed the possibility of an immigration moratorium as a potential public relations boon for the Trump administration. They hoped Infantino would leverage his friendly relationship with Trump to make it happen. That framing tells you something important about the internal dynamic. FIFA is not approaching this as a principled stand for fan safety. They are approaching it as a deal. Something they can offer the Trump administration as good PR in exchange for an assurance that fans won't be detained near stadiums. And then there's SoFi Stadium's food service workers. Unite Here Local 11, which represents food service workers at SoFi Stadium hosting 8 World Cup matches, said they will go on strike unless FIFA assures them that ICE agents will not be present at their workplace during the tournament. The union's president said directly, "The World Cup can't happen at SoFi if there's no food, if there's no drinks. Those are amenities that are essential. Someone needs to hold them accountable. Who better than the workers who make the games possible?" A strike threat at the stadium hosting the most matches of any American venue over whether immigration enforcement will be present at the venue during the World Cup. 8 matches. 8 times that stadium needs to be fully staffed, fully operational, fully functional, and the workers who make it operational are saying they won't work unless they have guarantees that FIFA has so far not provided. Now, add the FIFA Congress in Vancouver. At the recent FIFA Congress in Vancouver, FIFA officials declined to comment on how many tickets remain available for sale. At a FIFA Congress, where the entire global football community is gathered, the organization that has claimed unprecedented demand and boasted of 5 million sold declined to say how many remain unsold. That is not the behavior of an organization confident in its numbers. FIFA has said it has sold more than 5 million tickets. The total inventory for the tournament is 6.5 million tickets, with FIFA projecting $3 billion in revenue from ticketing and hospitality alone. 5 million sold out of 6.5 million available. That means 1.5 million tickets are still in circulation, somewhere between unsold, held by FIFA, allocated to federations, or sitting in corporate hospitality packages, with 33 days to go. Let's look at the bigger picture, because what's happening this week is not just bad PR for FIFA. It's the moment when several problems that were developing separately have collided at the same time in the same news cycle. The ticket pricing crisis existed before this week, but it took the president of the host country saying publicly he wouldn't pay the price to make it undeniable. The ICE moratorium discussion existed before this week, but it took the Athletics reporting to bring it out of private FIFA meetings and into public view. The stadium workers' strike threat is new this week, and the FIFA Congress silence on remaining ticket inventory is new this week. 4 separate pressure points, all breaking within 48 hours of each other, 33 days from the opening match. The state of New Jersey is reportedly going to charge World Cup fans close to $150 for the 15-minute train ride from Penn Station in Manhattan to MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, a trip that usually costs $12.90. Not because New Jersey is trying to profit from the tournament, because New Jersey is trying to cover the cost of hosting 8 matches that FIFA contributed $0 toward. So the fan who has already paid $1,220 for the cheapest available group stage ticket then pays $150 for a 15-minute train ride, then pays $80 to $100 in transit surcharges per match, then pays for food and drinks inside a stadium where the workers are threatening to strike unless their workplace safety concerns are addressed. That is the fan experience of the 2026 World Cup in the United States right now, before a single ball has been kicked. And somewhere in all of this, Infantino is still saying market rates, still offering the hot dog and the Coke joke, still maintaining with extraordinary stubbornness that the pricing is justified by the American entertainment economy. The same American entertainment economy whose president just told a newspaper he wouldn't pay the price either. What happens next? 3 things are going to determine how the next 33 days unfold. First, the ICE moratorium. Whether Infantino asks Trump for it, whether Trump agrees, and whether that agreement gets communicated publicly and clearly enough to actually change the calculation for international fans who have already decided not to come. If it happens and is announced formally, it removes one major deterrent. If it doesn't happen, or happens quietly without a public guarantee, the deterrent stays in place. Second, the SoFi strike threat. Unite Here Local 11 has made a specific demand. FIFA either provides the assurance or it doesn't. If it doesn't, and the workers follow through, 8 matches in Los Angeles face operational disruption that goes far beyond atmosphere. A stadium without food and beverage service is a venue in crisis. FIFA will not let that happen without a fight. But the fact that the threat exists at all, publicly, 3 weeks before the first Los Angeles match is extraordinary. Third, the remaining 1.5 million tickets. FIFA declined to say at the Congress how many are unsold. The resale market for the USA opener is already below face value. The pressure to lower prices or release tickets through alternative channels is building from every direction, including now from the White House itself. Whether FIFA moves and how far will shape whether the group stage stadiums look like a World Cup or like a corporate event that priced out its own audience. The most remarkable thing about this week is the position it puts Infantino in. He has built his entire relationship with Trump on alignment and partnership. He gave him the Peace Prize. He wore the red hat. He attended the Gaza Peace Summit. He stood in the Oval Office and said they would make the entire world great again together. And now the president has publicly, unscriptedly, and undeniably broken from him on the thing that matters most to FIFA's financial model, the right to charge whatever the market will bear. If even Trump says the prices are too high, what is FIFA's argument? That is the question 33 days from the opening match. And right now, FIFA doesn't have a clean answer to it. So tell me what you think. Does Trump's admission change anything? Should FIFA be forced to lower prices? And do you think the ICE moratorium will actually happen before June 11th? Drop your answer in the comments. This story is moving fast, and I want to know where you stand. If this is a channel that gives you the real story the moment it breaks, subscribe right now and come with us all the way to the final on July 19th. Every development, every crisis, every twist. We'll be here for all of it. This story is still developing, and as always, football never stays quiet for long. See you in the next one.